the feeling like I'm stuck in my damn mind. Tell the feeling like I'm rapping a damn lie. Tell the feeling like my life is a damn game.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I'll show you a supernatural horror film, Mirrors, Part 2. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, a young man named Max is peacefully driving with his girlfriend. Out of nowhere, another car is about to hit them, and Max swerves their car. Their car crashes, causing Max and his girlfriend to be severely injured. Unfortunately, his girlfriend died because of the accident. Max manages to survive, but he feels guilty about the death of his girlfriend. Because of this guilt, Max struggles emotionally, prompting him to undergo psychological treatment. Meanwhile, Max's father reopens their department store. One night, a security guard in their department store inspects an antique mirror inside the store. He is taking a look at his reflection when his reflection suddenly independently moves. His reflection drops the flashlight and it picks up the broken glasses on the floor. The reflection then munches the broken glasses, causing its mouth to bleed severely. Surprisingly, the reflection's injuries are being inflicted on the guard's real self. As a result, the guard's mouth and throat are severely bleeding as his reflection keeps eating the glasses. The next day, the security guard quits his job and people believe that he cuts himself. So Max's father calls Max to replace the former security guard. His father tells him that the police have been observing them since the disappearance of the store's new employee named Eleanor. This causes a delay in the store opening, and his father wants to avoid further delay. So the father has no choice but to have Max as a temporary replacement. He comes to the department store, where his father introduces him to the store manager, the store head buyer, and the store vice president. On his first day on the job, Max sees the spirit of Eleanor screaming in the mirror. He immediately reports this to his psychiatrist, thinking that it must be a symptom of his mental problem. The psychiatrist assures him that it is just part of his coping process and reminds him to take his pills. She adds it as a sign that Max is beginning to let go of his misplaced guilt from the tragic accident. That night, the head store buyer comes back to her home. Unbeknownst to her, her reflection in the mirror is intently gazing at her as she is busy with a phone call. After the call, she strips naked and takes a hot bath to clean her dirty body. While in the department store, Max checks security camera files on the computer. He sees a camera recording from the women's restroom, saved by the former security guard. While he is snooping in the security files, the store manager talks to him. He leaves the computer and walks downstairs to round-check the store. As he is taking a look in the antique mirror, the reflection of the naked head buyer appears. In the reflection, the head buyer looks at Max, and she holds her head. In a few moments, she beheads herself as she slowly pulls her chicken head until it detaches from her body. Almost the same time at the head buyer's home, she takes a look in the mirror when her reflection moves independently. She is surprised by the sudden movement of her own reflection, causing her to slip on the floor. Because of the impact, the bathroom glass door breaks in pieces. As she is trying to stand up, the remaining piece of glass in the ceiling falls to her head. As a result, the glass cuts off her chicken head, which kills her instantly. The next day, the detectives find out about the death of the head buyer. They are beginning to notice a pattern related to the department store of Max's father. In the meantime, Max calls his psychiatrist to report the vision he saw last night. He asks her why his visions are related to mirrors. She explains that the reflection of the mirrors is always part of himself. She then reassures him that he has a positive development in his mental struggles. He goes back to the department store and sees a handprint appear in the reflection of a glass door. He checks the room, but there is no one inside. He takes a look again, and to his surprise, Eleanor's spirit appears. The store vice president arrives, and he tells Max that the store buyer died last night. He is disturbed, as he also saw the store buyer in the reflection last night. That night, Max is doing his regular round checks in the department store. He takes a look at the mirror and sees the store vice president disembowelment himself in the reflection. Suspecting that the vice president is the next to die, he rushes to call him. In the vice president's home, he notices that his reflection is gone from the mirror. He observes his house, and as he looks back at the mirror, his reflection is already holding a knife. To his surprise, his reflection is independently moving by itself. It then cuts his ankles, causing his ankle to severely bleed and preventing him from running away. After that, the reflection cuts his other ankle. He crawls to try to receive the call from Max, but he fails to do so. He then looks back at this mirror, only to see his reflection, giving him an evil smile. Then, the reflection slits his stomach, causing him to be disemboweled and die in a brutal way. The detective eventually arrives at his home, and they find his dead body. Max rushes to his home, hoping to save him, but it is already too late. As he is walking, he sees the reflection of his father screaming in pain in the puddle, but in a chicken voice. He then immediately thinks that his father is next to die. He rushes to his father's home. He eventually arrives and manages to save his father in time before his father's reflection kills him. After that, Max goes back to the department store to do his work. The detectives notice Max's presence in the house of the store vice president, so they begin to suspect Max of the death of the vice president. They then visit him in the department store to ask questions about the recent deaths of the department store officials. They ask him why he is at the vice president's home earlier. To avoid being suspected as the killer, he explains that he is trying to report a problem in the mirrors to the vice president. But the vice president does not answer his call, so he personally comes to the vice president's home to report the problem. The detectives do not answer further questions and decide to leave. Max talks to the reflection in the department store mirror, asking what the mirror wants, hoping that the reflection in the mirror would spare his father's life. Then his reflection in the mirror independently moves, pointing the flashlight towards the box upstairs. Max follows the light, only to find Eleanor's identification card. The light moves, and he follows it again, leading him to a poster, indicating that Eleanor is the missing employee of the department store. The next day, Max pays a visit to Eleanor's sister, hoping to find more answers. He honestly reveals to her that he saw Eleanor in the reflection, but she thinks that he is pranking her with some smelly bullshit. He tells her that it is true, and he soon manages to convince her to listen to him. She asks him why he is the only one who manages to see Eleanor in the mirrors. He then reveals that he almost died in a car accident in the past. It turns out he proposed to his girlfriend before the accident happened. He believed that he should have died in the accident, but he miraculously survived. Because of this, he believes that the event gave him the power to communicate with the spirits in the afterlife. Eleanor's sister finally believes his tragic story. He asks her if she believes that her sister is already dead. She honestly answers that she thinks Eleanor is already dead, and then reveals that Eleanor had attended the department store opening party before she went missing. That night, Max calls Eleanor's sister, asking about the date when Eleanor disappeared. He checks the security camera records in the department and finds out the records are deleted. He further checks the security files, and it turns out that the former security guard deleted the camera records. Max and Eleanor's sister soon visit the former security guard to ask him why he deleted the camera records. But the former guard can barely speak, as his throat and mouth are severely injured from the broken glasses. He reveals that the store manager instructs him to delete the camera records. He is forced to do it since the store manager threatens to remove him from the job. They interrogate him further, and he leads them to the department store basement. After arriving in the basement, Max enters a narrow space, leaving the girl alone outside. Unbeknownst to them, the store manager is observing their movement. The store manager walks down the basement with a gun and holds the girl hostage. He then ties her to a pole using tape, and then he calls Max's attention. The girl manages to free herself up, and she warns Max that the store manager has a gun. The store manager then attempts to shoot Max in the narrow space, but Max covers himself from the bullets, possibly using his bulletproof muscles. Failing to hit Max, the store manager turns his attention to Eleanor's sister, who is already running upstairs. He immediately takes hold of her to prevent her from chicken screaming for help. As Max hides in the narrow space, he accidentally uncovers Eleanor's dead body. At this point, the mystery behind Eleanor's disappearance is revealed. It turns out the head buyer and the vice president team up to drug Eleanor, since they want her to be easy prey for the store manager. They did this because they wanted to make her image dirty. After she got drugged, the two let the manager put her in his car, and the manager began to abuse her body. Eleanor eventually became sober and aware of the store manager's perverted actions, so she tries to run away. To prevent her from reporting his actions to the police, the store manager chases her, and he chokes her to death in front of the department store mirror. It is then revealed that Eleanor's spirit wants to take revenge against the perpetrators and unravel the truth behind her disappearance. So she utilized the reflection in the mirrors to kill the head buyer and the vice president. After that, she threatened to kill Max's father, so as to force Max to help her achieve this. Back to the present, the store manager chases Eleanor's sister. He catches her in front of the mirror and attempts to choke her to death. Fortunately, Max arrives in time to save her life. Max grabs the store manager, and as they are fighting each other, Eleanor's vengeful spirit appears in the mirror. Max then pushes the store manager near the mirror, allowing Eleanor to grab the store manager into the mirror. It appears that Eleanor's vengeful spirit brutally killed the store manager as he screams in pain. The next day, the former security guard surrenders himself to the detectives. There, he confesses everything about Eleanor's death, hoping Eleanor will spare his life. Now, Eleanor's wish to uncover the mystery behind her disappearance is complete. The detectives then declare the case closed after hearing his testimony. In the end, the mirror in the interrogation room breaks apart, and the former security guard screams in pain, implying that Eleanor killed him to complete her vengeful act finally. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.